Before the arenas, before the awards.
This is b4Nashville Live. Have a question for our guest?
Send it to us via Messenger.
Here's your host, George Davis.
Hey, and welcome back to Before Nashville, where we introduce the country stars of tomorrow to the country fans of today. A little bit about tonight's guest. She splits her time between LA and Nashville, and she performs either original songs, both acoustic and with her band. And we're going to talk to her coming up in 30 seconds, and I'll tell you who it is, so stick around.
Before Nashville is proudly sponsored by Go-Go Tuners, the go-to tuner for professional and amateur musicians. Get your Go-Go Tuner at gogotuners.com. By Heart to Heart Coffee, the coffee that gives back. Find out more at heart2heartcoffee.com. By Sibby's Apparel, worn by heroes, made with respect. Order yours at sibbysapparel.com. And by Three Rangers Whiskey, not for the weak or faint-hearted. ThreeRangers.com.
All right, and tonight we've got a young lady with us who's, like I said, she splits her time between LA and Nashville, which is really cool and actually very hard to do, to be honest with you. She's an amazing singer. We got a lot to talk about. She's got so much stuff going on. So how about we give it up for Christie Huff?
I love that. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me tonight.
Hey, thanks for coming on. I appreciate you you hanging out with me, and we got a lot to talk about. So if you know, as they say in the rodeo, buckle up, because this is going to be a very quick 8-second ride. All right. So here's what we got going on. You were just, I mean, you're one of those artists that just amazed me, and reading your story and everything, I'm just like, wow. And I'm gonna say this, I mean, to me, you're quite young and you've got quite a bit going on, so that's that's pretty cool. So tell me about Christie Huff and growing up. Where did you grow up at?
Yes, I grew up in Mesa, Arizona. So anybody from Arizona listening, shout out to you guys. I've always loved music, and especially country music. My parents' first date was going to see a George Strait concert. So country music was like very prominent in my home growing up. And, I grew up in the era of like when Taylor Swift and like Carrie Underwood were coming about. And, for me as like a young, I started singing like when I was probably, I don't know, like in kindergarten and in elementary school, just singing like, musical theater. I was really into that for a while. And then when Taylor Swift and everybody started coming in, I was like, oh, like they are writing songs, and they're women and young girls telling stories about their crushes. So then that kind of inspired me to like start writing songs at a young age and everything too. So yeah.
Well, it's funny that you say that about Taylor and Carrie, because you said they were writing songs about their crushes, and Carrie's first song was about a breakup, and, and very bad one for him, I might add. And Taylor was the same thing, pictures to burn. And
pictures to burn. I know it's always like before he cheats, pictures to burn, teardrops on my guitar. So, I was like, this, my crush, because when you're at that age, and like I was like in junior high, it's like, I'm not really dating anybody. I have a crush that I'm like, I hope that he notices me. Like, you know what I mean? And like writing songs about that. So yeah, that definitely like opened up a door for me, when I was young, and I was like, well, if they're doing it, I can do it too,
Right. Did you ever have to write a song because he was dating like one of your friends or anything?
Oh man, luckily not about my friends, or like they weren't dating my friends, but I think my very first song I ever wrote was about my crush in English class, and it's called Crawling Back. And it's because like, how like junior high relationships go, they last like a week, you know what I mean? Right. So it's like that week was like such a like an important like long time in my world back then. So it's crazy.
Oh wow. Yeah, do you have that song recorded right now?
Oh my gosh. I have like a really crappy recording of it from when I like wrote it when I was like, 14. So
Mhm.
one day I should just like do like a throwback and like post it on my TikTok or something so that people can see where it all began.
Right, and that's one of those things I love to ask artists whenever they say, "Oh, I wrote my first song when I was 7," and that
Yeah.
kinda thing. And I always ask them, I say, do you have it recorded? Did your parents, like, video it or
Yes.
something?"
I think you
And
can find it on YouTube probably.
yeah, because I mean, have you ever thought about going back and rewriting some of it, kinda tweaking it and taking it to the
Yeah.
studio?
I mean, it is interesting that you say that because, like I a couple weeks ago, I was going back just to like some of the songs that I've written over the years, and like some of
Mhm.
them, I'm like, I would exactly, I would need to like rework them, but some of them have something like have potential. So,
Right.
it's like you have those ideas back then, might as well take what you learn now and add to it, So maybe Crawling Back
Yeah.
will be coming out soon.
Yeah, that could be that could be the song that makes you new artist of the year.
Exactly. I'm like, wait, I wrote this song when I was 14 years old about my crush Lakin in my English class.
Yeah, that would be an acceptance speech I
That
would
would be
pay to
hilarious. I know. I'm like, you might not remember or even know, but the song's about you.
right, and he's going, "Wait a minute.
You're like, wait,
If
what?
it's about me, don't I get royalties?"
Exactly. Yeah. You're making all that money off of that. I'm kidding.
Right, exactly. So you're in Arizona, and then as you grow up and you get out of high school, and you're thinking, okay, it's time to make a decision,
Mhm.
because it sounded like from what I was reading, you kind of had an opportunity to go on to college,
Yeah. Hmm.
but like some sports players, you were like, I'm
I'm
just
gonna
gonna
try.
take it off.
Exactly. So when I like my senior year of high school, I kind of got like the songwriting bug and was writing a lot of songs. Like I would write a song or two a day. And I applied to college. I was all set, gonna go to the University of Arizona. And then I started, recording songs in Arizona in my senior year of high school. And
Mhm.
it was there that I was like, maybe I think I want to give this a shot, and not, and maybe, and at the time I was like, I'm going to take 1 year off, from college and then I can always come back. I'm going to take a gap year. So
Yeah.
I talked to my parents about that and I was like, I think I want to give, this music thing a go. And they were very supportive from the beginning. My kind of what kickstarted everything for me was my sound engineer in Arizona told me about this songwriting festival in Hawaii. And he was like, you should go to this festival because you'll get to meet people, from Nashville and LA, from all over who could really help you. So I went right after I graduated high school. I went to Hawaii. My whole family came, and they all went on vacation, and I was, at this conference.
Right.
Time. But I think like we were there for a week. I saw the ocean once on my way out, like on our way back to the airport. But it ended up being like the biggest, best thing to happen for me when I was first starting out, because that's where I met my producer who produced my first two albums in Nashville, and
Mhm.
he took me back to Nashville, and I recorded, my first album in August of right after I graduated high school. So that just opened up a whole world for me, that I didn't even, growing up in Arizona, I'm such like a West Coast person. I didn't know anything about like, of course, like I always like heard of Nashville and like heard of all this happening, like some of my favorite movies, like my favorite movie when I was in high school, one of them was like Country Strong, so
Right.
I knew about it, but like I didn't really know about it until I went to Hawaii, and then he took me back to Nashville. So that was a really big, now looking back, that was like a really like prominent thing in my life that happened, that you know
Right.
so
So Country Strong, wasn't that the one with George Strait where he had like the
yes,
rat tail?
yes, okay, George Strait and like Gwyneth Paltrow, yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Uh,
Oh, that was great.
I know,
That was a
I
good
loved
movie.
that movie.
That was a great movie. So you talked about Taylor, you talked about Carrie, and was it I mean, were there other influences that you had in your songwriting?
Yeah. I especially like my senior year of high school, that's when I really, really started like writing songs. I was writing songs with my guitar because crawling back, my first song that I wrote with like loops on GarageBand because I didn't know how to play guitar yet.
Right.
But I really loved listening to like that year. I think the people who like really kind of inspired me was like Hunter Hayes, Luke Bryan, Lee Bryce, Michelle Branch. I was listening to a lot of, and like, of course, Carrie Underwood, Taylor Swift, Miranda Lambert. I was listening to a lot of country back in like 2012, 2013, 2014, like that era of country. And that really, I think, like influenced my first couple of albums, my first two albums, and my first couple of songs. And then, I think as I've gotten older, I love to listen to all types of music now. Now it's like, I feel like I've adopted that like Nashville thing of like, if it's a good song, then I'll listen to it, no matter what genre. And then I take inspiration now from really all genres. But I think I have this like, innate thing where I tend to write more country style and my voice is country. And like, I'll always have that bit to me, so,
Right.
but I love all types of genres, all artists, as long as it's a good song.
Right. So, okay, you're talking about Michelle Branch, and of
Yes.
course, for those that don't know, she played with the Wreckers.
Yes, I love the records. Yeah.
And Leave the Pieces, one of my favorite songs
Yes,
of all.
I love that song. Yeah.
And unfortunately, that was like one of the only ones that anybody that has never had the album ever heard because it
I
got
know.
a lot
The
of
album is good. I like the whole album. Yeah.
It's great. And I think if I remember right, of course, I'm kind of going back and relying on memory, which is not a good thing. I believe that album was actually nominated for a Grammy.
I think you're right. I think you are right. Yeah.
But it was
Like
when,
Willow or something. I don't
yeah, it was one of those years where the Grammy album of the year was one that everybody knew, as opposed to in the last few years where you're going, who?
know. Yeah.
I mean, you have to know who Sturgill Simpson is to realize that, that album was a Grammy award-winning album.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Mhm.
But so I mean that's super cool. Now, what about your performance
Mhm.
influences? What kind of artists beside, again, I'm sure Taylor and
I
Carrie
know.
had a
I know. Well,
know?
because I mean, I've seen Carrie Underwood and Taylor Swift in concert a lot of times, many times. But
Are we like borderline? Are you borderline getting a restraining order from
I know,
them?
They're like, girl, like, stay away. No, I'm kidding. But I also obviously Taylor Swift and Carrie Underwood, they put on shows that I'm like, one day,
Okay.
yeah, I would love to put on a show like that. But they have like dancers and costume changes, and they're in big sold out arenas, which is like
Right.
really fun to watch. But I think, grow, when you're at like my level, when you're still kind of like growing, you don't
Mhm.
have a fancy show like that, right? So I take a lot of inspiration by going and seeing like the singer-songwriter bands, more like one artist that I really love, Vance Joy. He's like an Australian singer. He had that song Riptide a couple years
Right.
ago. Oh, Brian, what's up? and
And that's live, by the way.
yeah. And I need to give a shout out to Brian, by the way. Thanks for connecting me and George for tonight.
Yeah.
But yes, I went and saw him in concert, and just different like bands. Like I just saw Casey Musgraves in concert, and she does more of a show that like, I mean, I would do like, I have my guitar and I'm playing, and then I put it back, and then I just kind of like vibe with my band,
Right.
so just take like a lot of inspiration by whoever I'm seeing, at the time. I think, I went to my first like big concert in, since the pandemic, a couple of weeks ago in Nashville. I went to see Dua Lipa.
Oh,
And
wow.
I was like, wow, seeing live music, like at like a concert like this. I've been to other shows,
Mhm.
that I played, but like to see a big arena show again was really inspiring to, to like talk, how the way that they just like interact with the audience and the way that they perform. It was super inspiring. But yeah, I don't know, just anybody who I'm watching who I look up to.
Yeah, that was one of the good things when we were in Nashville a couple of weeks ago. We got to see a lot of artists, a lot of new artists, a lot of
Yeah.
established big artists, and things like that. And that was really awesome to get to see all those. And it was cool to see live music back, and
Yeah.
even though it was an industry conference, but I mean, it was like it was like in 4 days we saw like 6 concerts, literally.
That's amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody from Carly Pierce to Walker Hayes.
Oh, I love him. Yeah.
Cody Johnson, Parker McCullum. I could go on and on and on. Keith Urban,
everybody there.
Little Big Town. It was unbelievable.
I love them.
and they killed it. Man, they did such a good job. But with like getting back to Brian, no. No, we didn't see Brian Judy in Nashville. Somebody had some lame excuse about not being able to go. But but they're, and it's good for everybody from the majors, I call them the class A's down to the level A acts down to the level C's, the independents.
Yeah.
And they're all getting back out there. And you've performed alongside a band that we've gotten familiar with called Joy Reunion.
Oh, I love them so much. Yes. Yes. I'm excited. We actually have a show we're playing together in LA at the end of May, which I'm really excited to play with them. But they are incredible live. Like, I get inspiration watching them live. We played a show maybe a month or 2 ago together. And, it's just like them 3 playing, and it's like, right. The chemistry that they have together is so good. And yeah, they're a band that like really makes you feel something, when you watch them perform live. Like, they're so good. I love them.
And that's what I like. I like a band or an act. It doesn't have to be a band, but just an act. A lot of energy. And I will say this: we were in Nashville, and I don't like. I'm not going to keep harping on the fact that we were there, but the one that we saw that I thought would bring a little bit more energy, even though it was an acoustic set, and you may flip out when I say this, or you may have seen her.
Who is it?
Was Elle King.
Really interesting.
Yeah. She was just kind of laid back. She was getting ready to perform, I think, the Grand Ole Opry that weekend coming up.
Oh, wow. Okay. Maybe she was like, I don't want to throw out my voice. I don't know. Yeah.
Not that she was bad. Don't get me wrong. Because she slayed it. She sings some songs off of her new album, which, by the way, is country.
Yeah.
It is country. And of course, she did Drunk and Don't Want to Go Home that she and Miranda did.
That. Yeah, it's so good. Yeah.
She did not bring Miranda out like she did at the Grand Ole Opry.
Man.
I know, right? It's just golly. But and I was hoping, but it was still good. My wife loved it, and we were sitting on the couch the other night, and all of a sudden I hear X's and O's start playing, and I'm like, "What are you listening to?" And she goes, "Elle King," and I'm going, "Okay, all right." I'm not a pop music guy. I'm country.
Yeah.
I mean, I like rock, but it's primarily country. But I did get to see one of my favorites, and I didn't get to see one of my favorites, or actually 2 or 3 of my favorites I wanted to run into, and didn't get to. So I was kind of bummed out there. But all in all, it was a great time.
I know, that sounds like a blast. I went to CRS 1 year, and I was like the only because I was like, oh, I want to go network with people, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But as an artist, it's kind of hard. But it was awesome to go though, just to watch the show,
Oh, yeah.
Going we went to, there was a show in the Ryman one day. That was awesome. I was like, okay, this is once in a lifetime experience being here right now.
Yes. Yeah. Anytime, and that's the label, that's UMG, and they have a bunch of their artists come on stage during lunch, and Keith Urban wrapped it up this year.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay. Oh, that's another person
Everybody's-
I was like,
yeah.
I love him so much, Keith Urban.
Everybody's still talking about that show, let me tell you,
Yeah.
because that part of it, because he just, man, it was amazing. But you know, we're I'm kind of getting off subject here, but let's talk about, okay, you know, you're getting into performing and you're starting to play out and stuff, and
Yeah.
and you're playing places in LA that like the rock bands played back in the 80s. I mean, I was looking at your bio about this earlier, and I'm going, really? She played the Whiskey, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And you know, there was one I was trying to see. Let me bring that back up real quick and see exactly, because the Viper Room,
Yeah.
Whiskey, and you played Whiskey Jam, and then LA, you played all kinds of places, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, you know, it was just blowing my mind that, but it's funny that a lot of people in LA, those artists out there, will play those rooms. And you know, I think about those rooms, and I'm thinking about, you know, the 80s rock band days where you had, you
Yeah.
know, air bands, Rat, Motley Crue, uh the Scorpions and Bon Jovi and all those guys are playing out there getting started, you know, and it's just like they've kind of changed their style a little bit, but
Mhm.
it's cool. I love it. I love
Yeah,
that people.
it's fun. It's like, yeah, it's pretty like crazy because I'm like, wow, these venues are like so historic for
Mhm.
LA, you know? So that's what's awesome about music is that you're able to do things, you know, in places that have so much history. So it's
Right,
really fun.
right. So you're spending time in LA, you're spending time in Nashville. What are you primarily doing in LA?
Yes. So kind of in both places, when I go out
Mhm.
there, I write and I collaborate with the different people who are in either LA or Nashville. And then I also do shows. And then I
Mhm.
try to book shows. Like this weekend, I'm playing a festival in Arizona on Saturday. So it's kind of great because I actually have a band in that I play with in LA, and then another band that I play with in Nashville. So
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to like kind of, you know, go up like the West Coast with my band out here and then go like the South and East Coast with my band there. And obviously COVID put like a weird damper on things, you know.
Yeah.
But finally we're able to like start getting back into things. So it's really cool because like, you know, like LA and like Southern California in general has such a big, surprisingly, I guess, such a big country music fan base and like community. So it's cool kind of being part of both like LA and Nashville because I think I'm able to like play certain shows on the West Coast because I am a country artist in LA. That I wouldn't get to play in Nashville because there are so many people out there, you know, doing country music.
Right.
So, like I saw Brian was like, ask about Temecula. Like I got to open up for Dylan Scott in Temecula a couple months ago.
Uh-oh.
So you know, it's just kind of in both places, just trying to keep you know, growing my contacts and my fan base, and then keep on collaborating with people too.
Right. I thought it was funny because I read in another interview you were talking about, you kind of made that you were kind of trying to make the decision. Do I want to go to Nashville? Do I want to go to
Yeah.
LA? And
Yeah.
the statement you made was, I decided on LA because there are so many blonde-haired female singers in Nashville.
Exactly.
And,
Yeah.
and I was thinking, LA, sun, beaches, there's a lot of blonde-haired girls out there, but maybe not all of them are singers. So I get where you're
Not
going
all
with
of
that
them
one.
are singers, and not all of them are country singers, especially.
Right.
But you're right. There's not a shortage of blonde girls in LA.
And either one, really. I mean, it seems like a lot of
Yeah,
the
that's
girls that go to, you know, to Nashville. It's very rare to find a brunette that is up and
Yeah,
coming in Nashville right now, I have to say.
it's
They
true.
are there, and we know several. We know one that's, I'll call her a ginger. Hopefully she won't get offended by that, but you know, she is definitely one of the odd men out. She's got kind of that, oh golly, I had her name. Oh, that makes me mad. Um, I'm trying to think of the girl. There's another artist up
Hammett?
there. Yes.
I
Yes.
love her. She's so good. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm like trying to think of her name over and over, but it just wasn't coming to me for whatever reason. So I mean, you've done really well for yourself. I mean, you've got like 13 million streams. Now, this is as of the printing of your bio. It could be
Yeah.
updated.
Yeah.
It can be updated daily. You need to have that
I
on like a
looked at
Google
the
Drive, and then you
exact
just
number
update
from
it.
last night. I'm kidding.
Right, yeah. Across all the platforms, you got over 13 million streams on your songs. You've got some amazing songs out there. Um, there was a couple that I was looking at today that again in a couple of interviews that you were talking about that I love the backstory on them. I thought it was really funny. There was one about telling the future.
Oh, palm reader. Yes.
Reader, yes. If I was smart, I would just go ahead and bring up your Spotify and look at it, and then I could tell. I would sound a lot more professional if I did that as opposed to trying
Hey,
to
it's
do it
okay.
off the cuff. Um, let's see here. Let me get to my Spotify real quick and
I know.
make
I'm like,
sure that
I need to pull up my Spotify. I'm like, what songs do I have out?
right. And I mean, I was actually going to listen on the way home, and then I had to call my wife about something, and of course, for whatever reason, my Spotify is being stupid and
It's
not
slow.
wanting to come up. So, thank you, Spotify. Um, but I mean, like palm reader, it was like you saw a sign that said that, and that's where
Yes.
you got the inspiration.
Mhm.
What inspires you the most on your songs? Is it just like things like that, or
Yeah.
where do most of your songs come from?
It's okay. So, for instance, palm reader. Yeah, like I was driving down the road and I saw a sign that said palm reader, and I have like a long list of titles or song ideas in my phone. So I was actually driving my car when I saw that, and I was with my friend. I'm like, "Hey, can you text me palm reader right now?" She's like, "Okay." So she like texted it to me, and then I put it in my notes. And then, some of those songs that are in the list become songs and some of them don't. But I was going through a breakup, maybe like a couple weeks later. And I started playing something on my guitar, and the first lyric that I wrote on palm reader, well, I was going through, sometimes when I get like a feeling that I need to write a song, I sit down and I just kind of start playing my guitar, and I look at that list just to kind of like
Mhm.
spark more ideas. So then I saw palm reader again, and at the time I was going through a breakup. So I was like, man, I wish that I had somebody that, could tell me who the next person I'm going to be with, who that is. Cause right now, this feeling of heartbreak sucks. And I want to know who the next person is. So that was kind of like the inspiration behind that. And it's kind of cool because I have, ideas in that list that I've had written down for years. And depending on like what I'm going through in a particular moment, it means something different to me, and then I write something completely different. So that's a way that I write songs. Another way is that I just like sit down and write something brand new, fresh, right then and there, because usually I get like a melody and a word in my head, and then I sit down and play it and then create a story around it. Um,
Right.
so yeah, but a lot of the time it's from like, personal experiences, or, if I co-write a song, lots of times we just start talking about something, and either one of us will bring in an idea, or, we'll talk for an hour or two before we even write the song and get ideas while we're having a conversation. So it happens like different every single time, but more times than not, it's like I have a feeling and just need to like let that feeling out. And the way I do that
Right.
is writing music. So
So it's kind of like therapy, but it's a
yeah.
good therapy that, could
Yes,
one day really get you in a good position.
exactly. I'm like, man, this therapy is really paying me back.
Right, right. And so you've got a new single that you just released,
Yes.
and we're I tell you what, let's take a quick break here. We're going to break from the music. We're going to let folks hear it. We're going to come back, talk about the backstory. I've still got other questions, and this is one of the good things that I love about somebody like you. I've got about 25 questions. I think I've asked 3.
I like to talk. If you couldn't
Well,
tell, I like to talk.
but you open up the door for so many other things to talk about, and I love that. But there are certain questions that I have to get to simply because I think they're great questions and they're very thought provoking. So we'll do those. We'll come back in just a minute. Actually, we're going to come back in 30 seconds. We're going to play Christie's newest song, and then we'll talk about the backstory of Jealous is the name of the song, and then we'll talk about some other stuff. So stick around. All right.
b4Nashville is proudly sponsored by Go-Go Tuners, the go-to tuner for professional and amateur musicians. Get your Go-Go Tuner at gogotuners.com. By Heart to Heart Coffee, the coffee that gives back. Find out more at heart2heartcoffee.com. By Sibby's Apparel, worn by heroes, made with respect. Order yours at sibby'sapparel.com. And by Three Rangers Whiskey, not for the weak or faint-hearted. ThreeRangers.com.
Time now to hit you back when you drop a line now. Just so you know that you ain't number one yet. Try to play it cool when my mind is in a tailspin. Make sure that you see anytime there's other guys around me. Make sure you think that someone's got me tied down. You ain't got a chance now, 'cause you lost what he found. Baby, all these games are stupid, and I only do this to make you jealous, get your attention, mess your mind up, keep you second guessing. Only 'cause I want you, only 'cause I need you. Don't act like you don't look at me, you wanna dive in deeper, yeah. I promise I'll break you, I do this to make you jealous, to make you jealous. I try the tight jeans to catch your eye at all the parties. Be nice and ask about your weekend. The mood is in your DM, but you're too blind to see it. So I guess plan B is to make you jealous, get your attention, mess your mind up, keep you second guessing. Only 'cause I want you, only 'cause I need you. Don't act like you don't look at me, you wanna dive in deeper, yeah. I promise I'll break you, I do this to make you jealous. Baby, all these games are stupid, and I only do this to make you jealous, get your attention, mess your mind up, keep you second guessing. Only 'cause I want you, only 'cause I need you. Don't act like you don't look at me, you wanna dive in deeper, yeah. I promise I'll break you, I do this to make you jealous, get your attention, mess your mind up, keep you second guessing. Only 'cause I want you, only 'cause I need you. Don't act like you don't look at me, you wanna dive in deeper, yeah. I promise I'll break you, I do this to make you jealous.
All right, Christie Huff and Jealous on b4Nashville. I don't know what happened there. I kind of punched myself in, punched myself out. So that's a good song. It's good, upbeat, it's fun. With a title like Jealous, tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah. Well, so I wrote this song like in quarantine. So I spent most of my quarantine in LA and was Zooming, like doing Zoom writes with, my collaborators that I collaborate with in Nashville. So we were having a Zoom co-write, and I came with this idea because at the time, I'm in like a relationship now. This is another one because I wrote this a while ago, but I had like I was kind of seeing this guy, and I was like, he doesn't really know that I like him. All these other things I'm doing aren't really like he's not really picking up on what I'm putting down. So I'm like,
Right.
doing all of this to like make him jealous so that he'll like want me. And I came to the session with like a little bit of like the chorus, like to make you jealous, get your attention, mess your mind up, keep you second guessing. So then I went there and they're like, yeah, let's do it. Let's write this song. So oh, thank you, Joe. So that's kind of where I got the inspiration, was just like real life. And it's funny because I'm like, I've never really I don't think I've ever really done anything like much to like make somebody jealous. It's just what I would, the person who I think I am in my head would do.
It's that alter ego thing. That's what it is.
Exactly. I'm like, Psh, I'm so confident I would do this and this and this, and then you be jealous and want me. Like that's an alter ego. Real me, I'm like, hey, you're not gonna. I'm like, notice me. You're not gonna.
Yeah, it never works out in real
No,
life like it does in our mind, does
it
it?
never does. I know. I'm like, man, I'll be way cooler if I was the person who I thought I was in my mind.
Uh, oh, that is great. So, I mean, the song itself, again, just a quick plug, like Brian said, go check Christy out. She's on all the streaming platforms. Go check her out. Check out her music. She's got Jealous and Wish List. And I mean, I was trying to look these over a while ago, and then all of a sudden we get into Blow Off Steam, Ghost Story. I can imagine what that one's about. It's not what people are thinking.
It's not what you would think.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not
not what
scary, I
you think.
promise. I get it.
So, but go check her out. I mean, she's been on like featured on a lot of the Spotify and Apple iTunes playlists and things like that. So go check her out. Now, another big thing, you kind of alluded to this earlier because you got this concert that you're doing on the 19th,
Yep.
and it is let's see, where was that? I saw where it was at. It's out in California, correct?
It's in Gilbert,
Gilbert,
Arizona. Yes.
Arizona.
Yeah.
Okay. You've got some, I mean, I don't know how you stoop down so low as to be on the bill with these guys, like John Party and Mitchell
I
Tenpenny
know, right?
and Craig Morgan. Craig Morgan, who opens for Craig Morgan? I mean, come on. And Ray Fulcher. I mean, good grief. That's a killer bill right there. I mean, that's
Thank you. I'm so excited. It's going to be so much fun because I'm originally from Arizona. So, like, this is like my homecoming. I feel like I have like friends and family and like friends from high school coming to this show. And it's going to be like really exciting. I'll have my 89-year-old grandma there and then my 1-year-old niece. So I'll have like all, artists there to see me. So
wow.
I'm really excited to, I've played this festival, Boots in the Park, in California before, but I'm really excited to be coming back home to my hometown and, like playing, like I grew up, playing shows around Gilbert. So it'll be really fun to play on a big stage with like these types of artists. Like I'm just so excited.
Yeah. And how far is Gilbert from Mesa, where you grew up?
Oh my gosh, like 10 minutes. Like
Oh,
it's so close. Like I grew up, I'm actually from like on the cusp of Mesa and Gilbert. So like here's my house and then here like we're in Mesa and then you go right here and you're in Gilbert. So I grew up going there, so I'm super excited.
that's pretty awesome. I mean, it's fun to get kind of go back, like you said, a homecoming, get to go back to your hometown, and
Yeah.
again, it's a big show, and
Yeah.
you're gonna have so many people there, so that's really cool. Um, I again, I've got a bunch of stuff on here I want to talk to you about, and I'm just picking up on stuff that you're saying, and we're just kind of following that. But let's just I'm going to run down a few of these questions before we
Yes.
get into some fun in the show because we want to get that done too. One of them is, what is a piece of advice that you would give to someone who is trying to get into the industry? Say your younger self, if you could
Yeah.
go back to your high school Christie Huff and
Yeah.
say, hey, what would you tell high school
Oh,
Christie?
yeah, that's a good question. I think I would go back and just tell myself and tell anybody else who, wants to do this, just stick with it. And, success doesn't look like that, it looks like this,
Mhm.
and sometimes things are going really well. And then sometimes you feel like, oh, I don't know, things aren't going as well, but they are, like you'll have ups and you'll have downs, and just stick with it. Keep writing songs, play everywhere you can. And the biggest thing I think I would give myself, and honestly, any young person, because it's only getting worse, don't compare yourself to anybody else, and especially people, nowadays, social media is like, it's such a big thing. And like, it's such a big thing, especially, as an artist, like you have to have it. There's no getting around having social media and TikTok and posting and all that kind of stuff. And I would just say, just be you and post what you want to post, and don't do things that feel soul sucking or whatever. Just be you, write songs, post that, and, play live, go out. And I would say, like, really just like hone in on your quote. I know this is like such like a cliche thing, but like hone in on your craft, because
Right.
that, I mean, I wish I would have, just not thought about, oh, I need to be here, I need to be there, I need to be there. I wish I would have just really, like, you'll get there, but you have to really just like practice, get with your band, book those shows, go out and network, and quote unquote pay your dues, So
Right, absolutely.
yeah.
So hang on, just bear with me a second, okay? All right.
I just need some time to get away from all these rumors. I can't take it no more.
Now every once in a while, I get a little dirt on different artists.
Oh no.
And it could come from an interview, it can come from a publicist, a manager, a parent, a grandparent. I have one artist whose grandmother
Oh my
kind
God.
of shared a little bit of an incident. And so I'm digging through and I get this little tidbit on you, and we're going to have you prove this. But
Oh
you have a very interesting talent beside music.
no.
You can, like, burp the alphabet.
Yes.
Well, I got to have proof, and I don't want you to do the whole thing, but can you burp the vowels for me?
Okay. I need to get some carbonation in me.
Okay, got to get a little, got to get a little Coke going there.
Okay. The vowels, so like A-E-I-O-U. A-E. Okay.
Right.
A-E-I-O-U.
Oh my gosh.
I told you.
Wow.
I don't know if I should be proud or like ashamed.
I mean, hey, if you got a talent, put it out there.
Got to. I mean, some people would be like, you can't like go back. You have to like do it all in one burp. I could if I had more, Coke in me, but
Right. Hey, we'll take it like that though. That is pretty good. I mean, and I read where somebody told you, you can't be a lady and belch, and you go, nobody ever said I was a lady.
yeah, exactly. I'm out here, trying to be a country artist. I'm not trying to being
Right.
violence or anything.
Country artists, we're talking about, mud and truck
Exactly.
and
Mud,
gear and
truck, boots, beard,
yeah,
there's
you
nothing
know,
ladylike.
exactly. And that's just the girls. We haven't got into what we talk about when the guys are doing,
Exactly. Exactly.
you know. So a buddy of mine, I'm gonna put his comment up here. Um,
Ask her. She needs an engineer. Hey, I'm always down. I collaborate with so many different like producers, engineers, all that kind of stuff. So let's connect. Message me.
he's a sound tech, and he's out of Northeast Arkansas.
Oh,
Sorry, Radius. I didn't mean to put you on the wrong side state there, brother. He's from Northeast Arkansas, and he's quite honestly one of the best sound engineers that I've ever worked with, and I worked with him
that's
for
awesome.
several years, and we've got to be good friends. So, yeah, if you ever need one, just holler at me, and I'll give you his number, and you guys can connect.
Yeah.
Um, Now, here we're going to get into a couple of questions that are. One of them could be embarrassing,
oh no.
depending on what you admit to. Let me say
Okay.
that way. First off, when you're preparing for a show, what takes you the longest to get ready? Your hair, your makeup, your wardrobe, your mental prep. Do you have to have so many cokes or drinks, whatever, to get going?
I think my hair for sure. Like, I gotta wash it, I gotta blow dry it, I gotta curl it. My hair and makeup, probably. Yeah.
Mhm. All right. Now, and Radius, by the way, works cheap. This is what he said.
Work for food. You're just like me. I'm kidding.
There you go. Y'all can do a show and split a Big Mac all at the same time.
That's great.
Yeah. So what is your most embarrassing stage moment?
Oh, most embarrassing stage moment. Interesting. Oh, well, one time I was wearing heeled boots,
Mhm.
and I was walking around stage, and then I kind of like tripped over, like some cords with my boots and stuff. And I was like singing, and I like kind of like fell a little bit, but then I just had to like stand up and like, yep, everything's good. I'm still here. So I think that was probably because I'm like, luckily, I haven't had many embarrassing things happen to me on stage, but falling is always kind of because you're trying to be like cool when you're on stage.
Right.
So like tripping isn't that cool.
Ask Luke Bryan.
Yeah.
I call him the biggest klutz in Nashville. The guy has fallen off stage more times than anybody.
Yeah,
And,
luckily I haven't fallen off stage. That would hurt, man.
Yeah. He's walked away with some pretty severe
Ooh.
bang up bruises and black eyes and stuff like that. So when you're doing your sets,
Mhm.
okay, and this is something, everybody does cover tunes in their sets. You've always
Yeah.
got to, you got to give the crowd a little bit of something that they
Yes.
really
Give
enjoy.
them what they
What
want.
is what is your favorite cover song to do in your sets?
Ooh, that's a good question. Okay, well, I really love to do because everybody knows it, and like when you're playing in like a country venue, if you play Friends in Low Places, like you don't even have to sing it. Like everybody is singing it with you. That song is really fun to play, especially like later in the night when people are like have had a little bit to drink. You know what I mean? That can be really fun.
That's great because you're right. That's one of those songs that you don't even have. All you have to do is start it off, and then you can go take a bathroom break.
Exactly. And then I'm like, cool, you go. Like, and then I'm always like, does anybody know the third verse? And they're like, yeah. And people do. People know the third verse, So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go in and sing it.
Yeah, and Garth, I got to say this about Garth real quick. I love Garth Brooks. I really do. He's such a cool guy, very laid back.
Yeah.
But he does like songs with extra verses that it seems like he has to cut them out.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the Thunder Roll has a verse at the end that few people know about, and Friends in Low Places, and
Yeah.
there's one or two that did done that, and I'm like, why do you do that? And
Yeah.
that's a question I'll ask him one of these days. Why
Ask
do you
him.
have
I know.
those
I'm so
songs?
curious.
You know, because I'd like to see what he says. Um, Let me see here. Okay, you can have dinner
Okay.
with one artist that has passed. Okay, they're no longer with us.
Okay.
Who is the artist, and what is your first question to them?
Ooh. I think John Lennon. And because I just watched part of the Disney Plus,
The
uh
documentary that they
yeah,
did
the
on him.
documentary.
Yeah.
And I guess I'd be like, what is your like, because it seems like they were just always writing songs, and like not thinking too much about it, and like, in like the best of ways, not overthinking. So I'd be like,
Mhm.
what is your what is your like thinking process behind like writing songs, and why are you so like, because sometimes I'm like, oh, I need to write, and like, and you get into this zone where I'm like, oh, I just need to do it, where it's like
Mhm.
the best songs come from just being creative. So I'm like,
Right.
how are you so like what's your writing process, and how are you so laid back, and like, do you ever worry and like stress about things, or like what is your, like what advice would you give me, like a young artist? I think that'd be really
Right.
cool.
And that's a very good answer. I mean, I like that a lot. I like the fact that you would ask him, what, kind of like, what's your secret? What's your secret sauce?
Exactly.
How do you do that stuff?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so this is the point of the show where we get a little crazy, and I just ask you some off the wall stuff, and some of them aren't really off the wall, but they're still thought provoking, if I could say the word. But some of them are really off the wall, and so we want to kind of share that with folks, and let them know.
Hell. What the hell? The hell? The hell? What the hell? What the hell?
So, so I guess you figured out what the title of this little segment is called. It is called "What the Hell." It's just it kind of makes you say that, like, why don't you ask that question?
Yeah. 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 Okay, cool. I'm excited.
But so all right, we're going to start off with this one. Now, this is a very thought provoking question, and the way I'm going to frame it is, when you think about the answer to this, do not think about status.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
and I'm just going to leave it at that.
Okay.
You are going out on your very first stadium tour as a headliner. You are playing Garth Brooks, Kenny Chesney size stadiums, and you
Okay.
get to ask two people to open for you. Who are those two people going to be?
Ooh. Kelsey Ballerini and Carly Pierce, to have them open for me. That's kind of funny. I want to open for them, full disclosure. But yeah, that's how it is.
Well, and I could see, and even Carly, but I could see you and Kelsey having a great time together, to be honest with
Yeah.
you. Y'all
Yeah.
would bond. I mean, you would be like sisters by the end of the night of the first show. That would be so amazing. Um, let's see here. See where I'm going. Okay. Describe your personality in one of the following.
Okay.
Okay. Grounded, Mariah Carey, or Kanye West.
Mariah Carey.
Okay. So kind of the diva type, a little.
I
I don't
mean,
like to explain them. I want to see what they say first, and then kind of tell them what my thinking was.
yeah, yeah, I guess so. A little like, I would like to say like I am grounded, but like I have a little bit of that like, I'm here now. Come on. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm like, come on, guys, help me get dressed. Let's first, like, I have 3 sisters and I have a little sister. So I'm always like, Amanda, help me do this. Yeah, and she's great at it. She's awesome.
Oh, that's too funny.
Yeah.
Poor girl. She has no idea what she's gotten herself into being your
I know,
sister.
I know. I'm like, Amanda, come here. You need to help me. hold my hair.
I gotta get my boot on. I need help. Seriously, I really do.
Exactly,
I can't
exactly.
keep
And I'm
up.
like, you're my sister. Of course you have to do this.
So um if I were to say we're just hanging out, okay, and you go, here, hold my phone, and people, how people get nosy, but
Yes.
I'm not gonna get into your photo gallery, but I
Okay.
am gonna open your iTunes. What are the top 10 songs that are gonna be in your iTunes?
Man, that's a good question. I mean, as we've already established, you know that I'm a huge Swiftie. So
Mhm.
definitely I'm gonna have, some Taylor Swift up in there, Carrie Underwood. Um, I've been listening to a lot of Casey Musgrave's album. Also I'm like a boy band fan of like the younger, so I'm like maybe some One Direction and some like Ed Sheeran. I love like British, pop and everything. So man, I feel like a woman. Oh yeah, for sure. We got that up in there. Friends and Low
That's
Place.
Radius's theme song, by the way.
That's but probably at least like the first 5 songs would probably be like Taylor Swift, like 22, We Are Never Getting Back Together, Carrie Underwood, All American Girl, stuff like that.
Oh, good answers. Very good answers. And since I asked you that question, I'm going to throw another one at you. That's along the music. Well, a couple of them that are along the music related lines, but this one is we're at a party, and I I do mobile DJing aside from being a
Cool.
radio DJ, and so I say, okay, Christy, take over. What's the first song you're going to throw out to them?
At a party,
Yeah.
there's this song. I don't even know who sings it, but it's like the ultimate pump up party song. It's called Shots. And it goes
Mhm.
like shot, 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 shot. You know what I mean? That one for sure. That always gets people wanting to dance on, get on the dance floor, gets people
Right.
in the mood to party. So for sure.
Some weird reason I want to say that's Pitbull, but I don't know if that's
I think
Pitbull or
so.
not.
I think you're right. I think you're right. I don't know.
Throwing little Joe Nichols there after that
Yeah,
one. How's
yeah.
that? I'm trying to
Any
figure out
song with
beat
tequila
mixing.
in it.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to beat mix shots, and tequila makes her clothes fall off.
Yeah, yeah.
I really feel like that the beats per minute are pretty close.
So we could do a transition for sure.
So I mean that'd come out pretty wild. And since we're talking about that and we've got so much music we've talked about, what song's stuck in your head right now?
Oh man. Now Shots is stuck in my head, but oh, earlier today, I mean, is it dumb that I have like my own song stuck in my head?
No, I mean there's nothing wrong with that, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, I'm like, because I've been like, I just released Jealous, and I've been like promoting Jealous a lot and stuff. So Jealous was been in my head too.
Well, that would work. That would work.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to jump into this one. This is one I tend to kind of hold back on, but it
Oh.
makes it fun. If you go into a public bathroom, what stall do you normally go to?
Usually the biggest one, I mean, like the handicap one. I don't know, because it's big, and usually I have like a purse or something, so then I feel like I can like breathe and like chill.
No claustrophobia.
The biggest one if
Yeah.
it's clean. That's the biggest thing, or like the
Right.
cleanest one.
Exactly. There you go. And instead of a last meal, you're offered a last song. What's your last song going to be?
That I listen to.
It's like, the last meal, like you're on death row.
Yeah.
You say you
Okay.
get
Oh,
one last meal, you get one last song to listen to, and that's it.
I would say like Somewhere Over the Rainbow, like The Wizard of Oz, because I love The Wizard of Oz. That's where I got like a lot of my like musical inspiration, and I think like that would just be like a nice, peaceful last song to listen to.
Yeah, it would calm me down. I know that.
Yeah.
I'd probably start singing it. That's what would be really weird about it.
Yeah.
And people be going, "What?"
Yeah.
So if I wrote a documentary about Christie Huff, what's the title of it and who's playing the lead?
Oh, Christie Huff. Oh man, Christie Huff uncovered. I don't know. Because then you get to know the real me, you know. And who would play me? Oh, it would be cool to have if Reese Witherspoon was younger. You know, Reese
Yeah.
Witherspoon for sure.
Good one. Good one. All right. This is my wrap up question, and this is one that I love to ask, and I'm actually putting together at some point a Spotify playlist of the
Okay.
answers to this song, or the answers to this song,
Oh, cool.
answers to this question.
Okay.
What is the one song that you have heard that you have said, "Man, why could I have not written that song?"
Oh man. Yes, this is a good one. Oh, I think Maren Morris's My Church. Like when that song came
Mhm.
out, I was like, man, I love this song. It's like so timeless. I like when it came out, I was like, this is a classic, right? Like this song has been out for like 30 years. But it's like also like so new and so fresh, you know? So
Right.
I love I just think it's so cool to like to have written like a song that's like so like feels like it's been out forever, but then also like so new and so fresh and like
Mhm.
different. I love that song. So yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I like the first album a lot,
Yeah.
and I like the Rich album. I
Yeah.
think that's what the thing was called. I like it too. But the first one that had 80s Mercedes in my church, I
Yes.
mean, it was just
Exactly.
killer,
I
you know,
love I love 80s Mercedes too. Yeah, it's such a good song too.
great stuff. So Christie Huff's been hanging out with me tonight. And Christie, thank you very much
You.
for coming and hanging out. Um Where can people find you? I didn't do this earlier, so I'm gonna do it now because I should have already had this done. And, let me get over here, once I get to the right spot. I have too many places to go. There we go. There we
Yes.
go. And then I'm gonna do this. I'm really gonna freak them out because I switched you, and now they're going,
Oh,
"What?"
where am I? What's happening? Oh.
Yeah. How'd you do that?
Yeah, yeah.
They're upset
Yeah.
they can't see the whiskey bottle anymore, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes
But yeah, ChristieHuff.com. That's where you can go and find all of my links. I'm basically everywhere, like everywhere you listen to music and every social media platform there is. If you just type in my name, Christie Huff, you'll be able to find me. So yeah, go give me a follow. We'd love to stay connected.
yeah, follow her on all the social media. Make sure you go check out her Spotify and her iTunes and Amazon and Pandora and whatever those other,
Wherever you listen to music,
yeah, all
YouTube.
of those
Yeah.
DSPs, as we call them in the radio industry, digital
Yeah.
service providers. So, or digital song providers. I don't know. Um, oh, Radius, you're just funny tonight.
I'm sorry. That's better. Now you're like ChristieHuff.com, not like, wait, what is
Yeah.
it?
Oh, he's a character. He is a character. So be sure to go check Christie out. Another thing, let me see if I can get I need another mouse here because I've got one mouse and two screens and I can't get to both of them. Because what I wanted to do, I did have your I think I took it down. What kind of shows do you have going on? I mean, I thought I had your website pulled up here and
Yes.
to get to all that.
We'll have a big festival that I'm playing on Saturday, which I'm really excited about. And then after that, I'll be going to Nashville for a couple shows. And then I'm really excited because I'm also going to be going to New York at the end of May for a couple of shows. And then possibly, hopefully, in early fall, I'll be making my way over to the UK for a couple shows. So going all over the place. So I'm excited.
Yeah, and I finally did get that brought up. You're going to be in Nashville on April 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Christie Huff Trio. That's interesting. Is that like your band? Is that what you call your band?
So usually when I'm like full band, it's like I've got bass, electric guitar, acoustic guitar, which is me, and then drums. And then
Mhm.
with my trio, it's just me, my electric guitar player, and then cajon. So
Okay.
a little stripped. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And that's at the that's going to be at Redondo Beach, California, and then you got Nashville for the Hump Day Classic. I love it.
Yes.
Village, three different shows at Village Fest.
Yes. I'll be going to Palm Springs to play that. So I'm excited.
Right. And then, of course, Gilbert, Arizona. We talked about that one earlier.
Yeah.
And Radius did remind us that he works cheap. So
Food for food.
he is working it hard tonight. I don't know. It's like, golly. He's really doing a number. So be sure to go check Christy out. While you're there, check out the shop. I always like to encourage people to go check out the
Yes.
shop.
I got
And,
new merch that I just got made. So yeah.
all right. Get some of the new stuff. I just found one right there. I may have to order. Nashville Love.
Yes.
I love that. That is an awesome
Oh,
looking t-shirt.
thank you.
Um,
I'll send you one. We'll talk and I'll send you one.
yeah. And the funny part is because if you look at the logo for the show, I have the Nashville skyline in it too. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
So
It's
yeah,
like
but
red
yeah,
color.
we'll take care of that. So
Yeah.
check Christy out. Again, she is all over the place right now. So you definitely want to go see what she's got going on. I'm trying to get my stuff to move over here because I got another. It's about that time for me to play my other music bed. So and another big thing after you go check Christy out, check her out on Spotify, all that stuff. Make sure you go wherever you get your podcast. Ooh, that was loud. Wherever you get your podcast, make sure you go check out Before Nashville. We're everywhere now. We're on iHeartRadio. We're on Apple. We're on Spotify. We're on Amazon. So wherever you get your podcast, go check out Before Nashville. We've got Kevin Nichols is going to be with us Thursday night. So tune in for that. Christie Huff, everybody. Christie, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you
It's
so much
been
for
a
having
joy.
me. It was so fun.
You're so welcome. So everybody, y'all have a good night, and we'll see you back on Thursday.
Thank you.